In the heart of an ancient village, dust settled on weary shoulders. The air was thick not just with sand, but with a palpable sense of hopelessness. Here, dreams were as barren as the land, and miracles were stories told by grandmothers long since past. Faces etched with hardship moved through the narrow streets, their gazes fixed on the ground, avoiding the sight of suffering that was all too common. By the roadside sat a man named Bartimaeus. He was a fixture of the village, a part of its sorrowful tapestry. Blind from birth, his world was a constant darkness, punctuated only by the sounds and smells of a world he could never see. His eyes, cloudy and lifeless, were a testament to a fate everyone accepted as sealed. He would sit day after day, his hand outstretched, a silent plea for a kindness that seldom came. People would pass him by, their steps quickening. They'd avert their eyes, not out of cruelty, but out of a shared despair. What could they do? What hope could they offer? Whispers followed in their wake, like a cold breeze. Poor man, he will never be healed. It is his lot in life. To them, his blindness was not a condition. It was a verdict, a final sentence with no chance of appeal. Bartimaeus heard it all. Each word was a stone, building a wall of isolation around him. But one day, a different sound cut through the usual hum of the village. It wasn't the shuffle of tired feet or the bleating of sheep. It was a sound of purpose, of movement, of something new. A murmur rippled through the crowd, a name spoken with a mix of awe, skepticism, and desperate curiosity. Jesus, a man from Nazareth, they said. A teacher, a healer. He walked into the village, not with the pomp of a king, but with the quiet grace of a shepherd. A gentle light seemed to emanate from him, a warmth that defied the harsh sun. His disciples followed close, their faces reflecting a steady, quiet confidence. The villagers, drawn by an invisible force, began to gather. They watched, they wondered, their hardened hearts daring to feel a flicker of something they had long forgotten: hope. Bartimaeus, unable to see, felt the shift in the atmosphere. The energy in the air had changed. He heard the footsteps, the excited whispers. He strained to listen, piecing together the fragments of conversation. Jesus, the name echoed in the darkness of his mind. Jesus of Nazareth. The one they called the Son of David. A fire ignited within him, a desperate, wild hope that defied all logic and years of resignation. This was it. This was his one chance. He couldn't see the man, but he could feel his presence, gathering all the strength in his frail body. He cried out, his voice raw and piercing, cutting through the crowd's chatter. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. The crowd turned, annoyed. Be quiet. Some hissed, trying to silence him. Don't bother the master. But their rebuke only fueled his desperation. He was not just asking for alms. He was pleading for his life, for a new beginning. He cried out even louder, his voice a raw symphony of faith and pain. Son of David, have mercy on me. The procession stopped. A hush fell over the entire village. Jesus had heard him. He turned, his gaze cutting through the sea of people to find the source of the cry. He saw the blind man by the road, a solitary figure defined by his need. A wave of compassion washed over Jesus' face. He didn't see a nuisance, he saw a soul crying out from the depths. Call him, Jesus said, his voice calm and full of authority. Suddenly, the same people who had tried to silence Bartimaeus were now urging him forward. Cheer up, they said, their tone completely changed. On your feet, he's calling you. Throwing his cloak aside, the only possession he had, Bartimaeus jumped to his feet and stumbled through the crowd toward the sound of Jesus' voice. He stood before him, trembling, heart pounding. The world held its breath. Jesus looked at him, not at his blind eyes, but into his very soul. He asked a simple, profound question. What do you want me to do for you? The question hung in the air. For Bartimaeus, the answer was the cry of his entire existence. He didn't hesitate. Rabbi, he said, his voice thick with emotion, I want to see. Jesus smiled, a gentle, knowing smile. He reached out and tenderly placed his hands over the man's unseeing eyes. He didn't need a grand ritual or a dramatic incantation. His touch was enough. A brilliant, warm light, brighter than the sun, seemed to explode behind Bartimaeus' eyelids. It was a light of creation, of restoration, of pure, divine power. Go, Jesus said softly. Your faith has healed you. Slowly, hesitantly, Bartimaeus opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was the face of Jesus, filled with love and compassion. Then, his focus shifted. The world, Once a vague collection of sounds and textures flooded his senses in a riot of color and form. He saw the deep, endless blue of the sky for the first time. He saw the intricate patterns on the leaves of a nearby olive tree, the rough-hewn wood of a market stall, the vibrant colors of the villagers' robes. A gasp escaped his lips, a sound of pure, unadulterated shock. He looked at his own hands, turning them over and over, marveling at the lines and shape. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Whispers of disbelief turned into shouts of amazement. He can see, it's a miracle. People who had walked past him for years, who had dismissed him as a hopeless case, now ran toward him. Their faces, which he had only ever imagined, were now real, and they were filled with tears of joy and wonder. Some fell to their knees, their hands lifted to the heavens, praising God for the impossible thing they had just witnessed. Bartimaeus, the man who was once blind, looked at the world with the wide-eyed wonder of a newborn child. Every face, every stone, every ray of sunlight was a gift. The miracle no one believed in had happened. The whispers of doubt were silenced, replaced by a chorus of praise. Jesus had proved them all wrong. As Jesus turned to continue his journey, a new follower joined his path. It was Bartimaeus. He walked not behind, but alongside, his eyes fixed on the one who had given him light, both for his eyes and for his soul. The sun, as if joining in the celebration, broke through the clouds, bathing the entire scene in a warm, golden glow. This story isn't just about a miracle that happened 2,000 years ago. It's a timeless reminder that even in our darkest moments, when we feel trapped by circumstances that seem impossible to change, there is hope. Jesus still has the power to change impossible situations. He still hears the cries of those who call on him in faith. What seems like an end to us is just a beginning for him. No matter what darkness you face, remember Bartimaeus. Remember that with faith, even the blind can be made to see.